I left some tips on the table. Please take those with you. We probably won't have time for me to go over them, but it has a lot to do with you, like checking in and networking and getting your name out there and getting your information out there. So just kind of look through it when you have a chance. Have slide it in your notebook, whatever. And I will be hitting you up probably tomorrow with just like a quick little survey to let me know what you thought and how things went, and if you got some valuable information, things like that, so that I know if we need to keep doing this, keep trying this, okay? Ultimately, we're just looking at trying to see several different pathways in the aviation industry. We've got two, very different individuals here that took very different paths, and they're different ages as well. And so hopefully you will get to learn a lot from their experiences. The different benefits that you need to be thinking about and considering when you're looking at a job, and then just developing a little more knowledge and confidence when you go to apply for jobs, and knowing and being more sure as to where you want to go and who you want to work for. So anyway, with no further ado, this is Lucas Taylor on the far right there. He is an AAC instructor. He also works at M1 Support Services. And this is Brett Bailey. He is a fairly recent graduate of AAC, and he works at Lift Academy as an AMT. So I'm going to give it to them. Basically, they're just going to share their education and then their work experience and whatever else they want to share, and then you guys can ask questions. Okay? Take it away, guys. Whoever wants to go first.
All right, yeah. Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Brett Bailey. I'm currently a senior at Auburn University doing aviation management, so I'll be out of there. I came through the aviation college. I graduated in May of 23, tested out, got my AMP. You guys have a lot of great resources here. Before you guys test for your OMPs, do the review session with Henderson. He's great, very formal, informational. So after I got my AMP from here, I had a decision to make, do I want to go to work? Do I want to go back to school? Since I was so fresh out of high school, I dual enrolled through here, came out here at night, went to high school in the day. Fresh out of high school, I was like, man, just honest, I was like, I don't know if I want to go straight to a career. So I decided, did some research, decided that Auburn had a great aviation management program. Looked at, did some research on what was available for maintenance management or any kind of management in aviation. So I decided to go to Auburn. So I'll be out of there in a year. And then after I got my AMP, I was going through school. I decided, well, hey, I need to get some experience. Having your license is great. One of my instructors here told me, think of your license as like a form of a passport. It can take you anywhere in the world that you want it to take you. But without a license on its own is great, take you anywhere, but with experience, it's invaluable. So decided I needed to get some experience. So I started off at this little Part 61 flight school called Red Tail Flight Academy. It's in Tuskegee. I was the only mechanic out there, so it was a lot. Fresh out of school, I didn't really have a good mentor, but was gaining experience. And then because of that experience I gained, I saw a job posting at Lift Academy, which is where I work, working on Diamond DA-40s. They got a pretty big fleet. They got bases in Indiana, Myrtle, Galveston, Tuskegee, obviously. So because of my experience I had gained from Red Tail, I put in my application there, went out there to work. It's been great. I got great mentors, great network of people. I can ask any question. If I don't know something, I can ask. They're very helpful. They're not going to be like, well, you should know this. They're very helpful. They'll help you with anything. And, at my old job where I worked, I didn't really have that. I didn't really have a good mentor, didn't have a good, support system. And it was honestly, it was kind of discouraging, fresh out of school, you learn in school what's right, but, with experience, you're going to learn if something's not right, So, I've been at Lyft since. It's great. You guys have a great network of people here. Definitely take advantage of that. Everybody here, whatever you guys want to do, y'all are all in the same pipeline. Even if you don't want to all go do the same thing, there's you guys have a great network of people here. Miss Lori in the back, she's great. She'll do anything to help you guys find a job. All the instructors here just want to see you guys succeed. And yeah.
Great. Tell them before Mr. Lucas speaks, tell them about the pipeline from Lyft to Republic.
Yeah, so where I work at Lyft, our parent company is Republic Airways. And Republic, you know, they operate Embraer 175s. And pretty much if you're a mechanic at Lyft gaining experience and you want to go work on the jets for Republic, you can pick any one of their bases and they'll send you the training, you know, pay for you, and you can go work there. So.
Like Ms. Laura said, my name is Lucas Taylor. I graduated here in Ozark roughly 2010 with my A&P. The first job that I took out of college was PIMCO World Air Services. You probably never even heard of that. It was a really tough place to work. It's renamed something. It's in Midland City, but we worked on 757s. We worked on cargo door mods. It's not the job I wanted. By any means was it the job I wanted. But I'm telling you that because I took that job because it was my first job offered as an A&P mechanic. So maybe your dream is to go work at Fort Rooker. Maybe your dream is to go work in Abu Dhabi. Whatever the case may be, that doesn't mean you're going to get that job right off the bat. So like Brett was saying, experience is extremely important. So when I say that, I started at PIMCO. Wasn't the job I wanted, wasn't the pay I wanted, wasn't even working on the aircraft I wanted to be on. But my experience clock started. We got called up to the conference room in about 9 months and said, hey, we're going to lay off. They were known for laying off. That was the MO at PIMCO. And well, at that time, I had friends that were working at Vector Aerospace in Andalusia, the TH-57 trainers. I called them and said, hey, I need a job. Well, I had made connections. I had met people. Networking is huge. I don't know if you know this. You're all in college still. You're going to learn, if you haven't learned already, it's not always about what you know, but it's about who you know. Who has a teacher that they like to take, and who has a teacher they had to take because they didn't get to take the teacher they liked. I'm a teacher. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You know what it means to get the teacher you wanted. You've heard the MO. You've heard they teach this better. They understand this better. The class is easier. Whatever the case may be. Who has taken their O&P already? You're going to find the O&P DME that you want to take, that you want to pay, so you can get your license. But I got a job at Vector. I stayed there for 8 years. We ended up closing the doors. The contract got fulfilled. They did not renew a contract. And at that point, at Vector, I got my bachelor's degree. They paid for it. So again, get your license, get your foot in the door. If you want to continue with your education, that's available. I got my bachelor's degree at Vector Aerospace. I went into management, so I got management experience. And when they shut the doors, networking. We all thought we had no job. Little did we know, our HR representative was going to M1 Support Services. Networking. Hey, remember me? We used to rub elbows every day in conference meetings. I need a job. Come on out. Job number 3. There we go. Networking is huge. What Brett was saying, Miss Lori, huge networking. Student services, huge networking. My first resume ever was done by student services. But now I work at Fort Rooker. I've been there for right at 8 years. I work at Hanchey on the Apache, the AH-64 Echo models. I'm a lead. And I just received my master's degree in November through M1. They paid for it as well. So again, get your foot in the door, show good work ethic, show that you want to be there, show that you've learned something here at Aviation Campus, and doors will open. Like I said, the first job that gets offered to you as an A&P mechanic, I'm sure they've told you this a million times, this is a license to learn. Yeah, it kind of is, but it got you in the door. That's all you care about is getting in the door. When you get in the door, Then you start making coworkers that you can trust. They can rely on you. You get better relationships. You learn as you go. You get it, like Brett was saying, that would be a tough situation to be the only mechanic because we have thousands and thousands of mechanics at M1. You're never going to get put by yourself, hey, go take the servo off. You've never done it. Even as a lead, that doesn't even make sense. Hey, I need you to go pull the engine. Never pulled it before, but guess who's responsible for you pulling the engine? Me. I'm not going to do anything stupid. I'm going to send you with 2 other people that know what they're doing. So don't let that scare you either. When you get into the field, you get into, especially if you want to go to M1, you're not going to be thrown to the wolves. The union's extremely strong. We're there to help each other, protect each other. And but that's pretty much it. With the experience, with the years of experience, with the different jobs, I came back to teach. I teach because it works with my schedule. I work at night. I teach during the day. So another opportunity. Again, you can work on the side. You can help people with the airport. I've done that before. I worked on Cessnas. People on their own aircraft. They got to have annuals done. They got to have 100 hours. You can do it. That AMP. So, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Does anybody have any questions? Are we ready to field questions? Or
did you talk about like your contract pay and then like you didn't have insurance and then you did get
So when I was at PIMCO, we saw the writing on the wall. They were going to lay us off. So I contacted Vector Aerospace, the people that I knew there, and they said, hey, we can bring you on as a contractor. So the contractor pay is fantastic. It was $1,600 a week, but there's no benefits, no insurance, no nothing. So if I fell off the aircraft, broke my arm, I'm going to fork that bill out. So I had no insurance there. That being said, obviously, if you're making that kind of money and that's the lifestyle you want to live, you could be working this week, next week. They may send you, say, hey, we fulfill, you've done everything we need you to do. We don't need you anymore. You may be on the road with your toolbox going to Lake Charles, Louisiana. If you want to see the world, by all means, that's a great way to do it. Contractor pay is great. You can pick up your own insurance, obviously. Just do it independently. But after a couple months of doing that, they hired me on direct. They knew I wanted to be here. I didn't live too far from Andalusia. So that was something I wanted to, be as my career. That being said, you can do contractor work. You can travel around the world. You can travel around the United States, see what airframe. I never, ever, ever, ever want to touch another 757. Ever. Never. I don't like fixed wing. I don't like the heavy structures. I don't like that. Helicopters is my thing. I can take 2 steps and I can be on top of the helicopter. Or I can take 30 steps and be at the front of the 757 and then walk this way for about 60 yards and be at the lav back there. And then I realize I forgot my 9/16 wrench, so I can do all that in reverse. I don't ever want to go work on another jet. But you may love it. The people out there, they loved it. You may want to go work on F-22 fighter jets. By all means, you can do it. Get the license. You want to go work on the teacups at Disneyland, get your license. Who do you think fixes those? Mechanics. That's you. Anything else?
Brett, before I let them ask questions, what is your ultimate goal? Like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to work? Who do you want to work for?
Yeah, I feel like since I have my license and I'm gaining the experience and I'm going to get my 4-year in aviation management, I couldn't really say exactly where I want to be. I'd like to be director of maintenance management somewhere, I don't really have a preference on where, but I feel like, even like, you guys, seriously, I mean, if you're thinking about becoming management, anything, flight ops, I mean, hey, it don't stop. Auburn's great. There's plenty of other schools out there that you can go to. It don't stop. I mean, let's say you're going to M1 and you're like, I want to progress my career. I want to move up to management. Like he said, he got his master's from M1. So, anywhere you go, it's not the end all be all. Like I said, you can go anywhere you want to go, anything you want to do. Yeah, I mean.
And you'll probably be a lot like Lucas as far as when you start working, you'll start discovering
Right.
what it is that you like and what it is
Right.
that you don't like
Right.
and where you want to be and who you want to be with. And that's one of the things that I really want you guys to understand is you may not start your very first job as your dream. It may not be your dream, but it is going to be work, and it is going to be experience, and it's going to help, move you to where you want to be.
Your experience molds you. So like when I was at PIMCO, I knew real quick I didn't want to do 757s. So we went and worked on helicopters. And then as I learned about the education benefits, they paid for education. So I said, okay, I want to be a program manager. I want to sit behind that desk. Well, I did that. I got the bachelor's, I got the job, program manager. Didn't love it. Like, it was good pay, it was a good work environment. I had my own desk, I had my own office. Like, it was where it was where I thought I wanted to be. You lost all the camaraderie. You didn't have your buddies that you saw every day. We hired people I never even met. We were kind of a mom and pop. It was an 80, 90 employee. I knew everybody. When I was on the floor, I knew everybody, where they lived, where they went to high school. We knew everybody. When I got into management, the door shut and they were out there and I was in there. Didn't love that. That's just not who I am. You hear a lot of military talking about, I don't want to be an officer. I want to be a sergeant so I can take care of my guy. That's kind of how I am with our, the union. It's nice that you get to rub elbows with the guys every day, the girls, you have more of a camaraderie. So I'm not looking to go back into management. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. That's not me. He may be the greatest program manager that ever walked the face of the earth, and he may love it. You got to figure out where you fit in, like what you want to do. Everybody in here could go to a different place, but with that license, that's going to allow you to figure it out. You're going to have every opportunity you want, whether you want to go work on aircraft in the desert, or you want to work at the beach, or you want to go work in Seattle. It's up to you. You get the license, and the world's at your footsteps.
Yeah, just to build off that a little bit, for your first job, you got your license. Something I heard one time that I thought was good, your first job, you shouldn't really be worried about max pay. You're building repetitions, you're building good habits. I mean, aviation, as big as the industry as it is, it's really tight knit. People are going to remember how you work more than where you worked. So just keep that in mind. First job, fresh. You got your license. Don't worry about the biggest paycheck. Build the good habits. Get your foot in the door. Get your experience. Start that time clock, like you were saying.
One word of advice that I could give you, and Mr. Stan could back this up on the military side. Aviation is an extremely, extremely small world. Stan, did you ever run into anybody you met in boot camp or your first station 20 years down the road?
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to an aviation as well.
Even in retirement.
Don't burn bridges. You may have disagreements. You may not see eye to eye. Hey, man, that's fine. Hey, lady, I'm good. You do your thing. I'm going to do my thing. Good chance you're going to see them again. And they may be your boss 10 years down the road. So don't burn bridges in aviation. And that being said, places you work too. When I was in aviation school, I put desks together at Bell Helicopter. Desks. Just needed a manpower. Just needed a $10 an hour job. It's right over across the airport. I put desks together. I rubbed elbows with a lot of admin. I was putting admin desks together. Hey, how you doing? We see each other every day. Great. Guess who hired me at Vector Aerospace? One of the admin. They hired me. I met HR, got a better job, moved up. Guess who hired me at Fort Rooker? HR from Vector. Don't burn bridges. Make relationships, network, smile, have a good attitude. Attitude is key. I tell everybody that comes onto my crew, I would rather you be the worst mechanic in the world with a good attitude than the best mechanic in the world with a horrible attitude. You're going to realize you're going to spend more time with these people than you will your family. You're going to spend a forced 40 hours a week with these people. You're not going to get that much time outside of sleeping at home. Have a good attitude. Be a benefit. Be a positive to the crew, because that's who you're going to live with for the next 30, 40 years. So, any questions?
About apps, anything is no.
Open book. I ain't got nothing to hide. Ask the ins and outs, the hard questions. Who wants to go to Fort Rooker? Who's that plan. Who wants to go outside of Fort Rooker? Who wants to move? Where y'all want to go?
Probably can go to the cemetery.
Maybe at one
Airport?
maybe.
Good luck navigating that thing.
My colognes to my far red working in Prague, so.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's,
You a weekend warrior at Pratt?
I want to go overseas.
Overseas. Make the big tax-free money. Make sure it's tax-free.
Mr. Weston says that I can't
For all you Fort Rooker hopefuls, it's a good job. You stay local. It's just shift work. You're gonna get out there. You're going to third. Just go ahead and just know that you'll do 90 days on first, but after that you're going third. That's just part of it. Anywhere you go, aviation is shift work. So you just got to get used to that. Like she said, she's on the weekend shift. You know, that's part of it. So just have a good attitude. Keep your nose clean. Do what they ask you to do. Follow the maintenance manual over all else. Over time restraints. Over, hey, I really need you to fix this. No, we're going to do it this way. You'll come out 100% better every single time. Your boss may not hug you when you leave, but when the job's done right, that's all that matters. Anybody else? Any questions?
gotcha. And,
Brett, what is the hardest thing you've done so far?
Hardest thing I've what?
Done so far in your experience?
I'd say, like he was saying, you know, we work. I work at a Part 141 flight school. There's a lot of time constraints. You know, we're trying to get aircraft out, and my manager, she's really good about, you know, she wants it out, she wants it done right, but there is schedule. You know, we got to, you know, coordinate with scheduling. We got to coordinate with, you know, CFIs, students. You know, it's a business. Getting planes out, but making sure you're doing it right. Don't take any shortcuts. You know, your manager might be pushing you along, but I mean, you want to make sure you're doing the best job you can. Follow the maintenance manual to the T. You know, if you don't know, ask. Definitely ask. Make sure you guys have good support system, good people you can ask. So, but I'd say, you know, trying to work with the schedule of the wherever you go, and making sure you're doing a good job too. You know.
Tell them what you act. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Working at M1, do you ever get the opportunity to transfer to any different bases?
They have that option on the website as far as M1 support services, but no, I haven't looked into that just because I've bought land, built a house. Like I want to be here. Like I definitely don't want to have to go. That being said, I do know of a gentleman that worked overseas for M1, and he came to Fort Rooker. Again, it's the networking. Is we had a couple months ago, Huntsville was doing modifications on our helicopters here at Fort Rooker, and they finished the contract and they were looking for jobs, and M1 helped them. I know that for a fact. M1, they said, look, you got to move. Obviously, you got to relocate, but we've seen your work, good work ethic. We can help you out. So again, networking is huge. So the possibility is there. Anybody else?
Hey, Lucas talked a little bit about your reputation and how the relationships matter, what you say matters, your attitude matters. Let me tell you a story. I did 31 years in the Army. So one of my friends was in aviation special operations. And it's a pretty detailed tryout. You got to be pretty good to be in special operations. And during his interview, and he was with a bunch of other people trying out at the same time. And during the interview, one-on-one, they asked him, is there anybody in this group that we should not pick up for the team? Is there anybody in the group that you would not trust with your life?
Sure.
And he said, yeah, there's someone on my team that I went to school with in Canada school about 10 years ago, and he cheated on a test. And I remember that. And that was enough to get the cheater disqualified. And he didn't make special operations aviation because he cheated on a test 10 years earlier. What you do now, I mean, these are the people you're going to be working with for the next 30, 40 years. Everything matters. Everything matters. I've met people in the Army that have come up to me 20 years later and said, I remember you taught me this. I mean, I had no idea of that conversation, but they remembered. Hey, you taught me this. I was a better officer because you taught me this. So we as human beings have long memories. And you remember the interactions we have with people. So your reputation does matter. Everything you do. Don't sign off any work that you didn't do. You know, do your job right every time. All right. Because people remember.
To piggyback off that, the world is so small in aviation. If I tell my students, and they're high schoolers, they're young, I tell them though, look, if you're late every day, if I see you cheating and I handle it or whatever the case may be, if I suspect you cheating, if you give me the idea you're cheating, it's going to come back. When Miss Adrian Smith at M1 calls and says, hey, how's Johnny? I got his application in front of me. Johnny acted like he wanted to cheat every time I gave him a test, or he sat in the back of the classroom and did nothing when we were doing hands-on, when he didn't want to participate. I'm not vouching for him. Exact same thing goes for every one of you. Miss Adrian calls me and says, hey, what's your name?
Christian.
Christian's on my desk here. I say, hold on, I didn't teach him, but I can call Mr. Henderson. I'm sure he ran through Mr. Henderson. And if Mr. Henderson didn't, he knows somebody. Networking. If you were a jerk in class, it's coming back, I promise you. You didn't want to participate, you didn't want to put forth effort. It's a very, very small world. And I say that because we work hand in hand with Miss Adrian. Miss Adrian is the person that will call your telephone if you want to work at M1 and say, hey, I'm going to need you to come in for an interview. It's a very, very small world. Have a good attitude in everything you do. Work as hard as you can. Yeah, I get it. I promise you, you're working on the same engines I worked on. They're out of tolerance. They're bored out 10 times. I get it. But you got to make the best of what you got, because I promise you, when you get into the workforce, it's not going to be perfect either. That's one thing that I learned here is, yeah, we had some wore out rings. We had to reuse some O-rings here. So what? You're going to have to get into the mindset of everything's not perfect. Like he talked about special ops. I read a book one time. They went to, it was SEAL Team 6. They went to take down Osama. Guess what happened? Helicopter crashed. Did they just say, okay, stop, come pick us up? No. They landed on a fence. The tail was hung up on a fence. They didn't stop. They had to keep doing what they had to do. You'll run into that. You may get out on the field and forgot a wrench, but hey, this will make it work. So be very adaptable. Everything's not perfect. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Brett, how long were you at Red Tail?
I was at Red Tail for 6 months, and even though it wasn't my favorite job, but it started the experience clock. I saw Lift Academy post a job, put in my application because I had the experience. I was more likely to get hired, so did the interview, got hired on. Been there since.
I posted that job for Lift Academy
Last
spring.
Yeah. About a year ago.
And Brett texted me immediately, and he was like, Miss Lori, take that down, I'm applying for that. Because it goes out to everybody, because I'm sharing that information with everybody. But he has a really good resume, a really good background, a lot of good experience. He's got his A&P, so he was a great fit for it. I will also say, in relation to that, you can always look for a job when you got a job. So, just like they both said, just because their first job wasn't what they really wanted, and it wasn't their dream job, and it wasn't even the best pay, and it wasn't even where they wanted to work, they did it, even if it's for 6 months, they did it, and they got the experience, and they just looked the whole time while they were there working, they looked the whole time for another job. That's just how it works. And one other little story I had was, we had a student in the fall. He applied everywhere around here, everywhere. Sikorsky was hiring everybody at the time. CAE, Commercial Jet, he applied everywhere, and his resume was really, really good. I mean, I was helping work on it, but anyway, it was really, really good. He just had a lot of good, background and experience, and he would not get hired. Nobody would hire him. I would run into him just all along, month after month, and nothing. He would hear nothing. Well, I gave him some, information about, connecting with some of these businesses, going on their website and registering, applying, whatever, signing up for an account. And then the businesses will email you. They will email you job announcements. They will email you any kind of, events that they're having, any of those kinds of things. Well, he did that, and he got newsletters and all that, and he decided to go to a meet and greet in Florida. And he walked around with his resume and talked to people and got business cards and had had some contacts that he could call, and he got a job at Boeing. Started in February. And so it's really, really important that you put yourself out there, that you make these relationships, you put yourself out there, you network, and you do your own research. Like, I can only do so much. And I only know so many people, which ain't many because I haven't been in this industry for very long. So the more you put yourself out there and the more you seek, and like I said, sign up and network and go to the businesses that you want to work for, look at what they're posting, look at what they're advertising, look at their job announcements, all of those things. You just get that much further along in the process. I just wanted to share this. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time. Well, not that even. This first thing was given to me by the Director of Workforce Development, and it just shows like the job postings and how long they were advertised. And so you can just see some of the, like Tynet, Ulista, in between January and October, they posted 96 jobs, 100 jobs, 52 jobs. So, if you look at Lockheed, they posted 22 jobs within that time frame. It just kind of, I was kind of surprised because we don't ever know. Like, Lucas and I were talking about, we don't know when anyone's going to hire again. They were talking about maybe the beginning of the year, but we don't know yet. And so there's no like cycle, like, oh, they're going to hire every October, or they're going to hire every December, or whatever. There's no cycle. And so just kind of looking at the numbers and saying, oh, well, Auburn University, they posted for 25 jobs. But this Project XYZ, they only posted for 7. So just looking at the companies and how many job openings they actually have in the companies, it's just kind of interesting, and it kind of gives you a perspective as to what your chances are for working for that company, if that's the one that you want to work for. If they only have 5 openings in a matter of 9 months, or if they have 100 openings in a matter of 9 months, you have a little bit better chance, So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then one of the things that I think, especially when you're in it, oftentimes we don't look ahead, and we're just looking at pay. Like at this point, for everybody, me included, like that's the most important thing. But like they said, sometimes it's not the most important thing. And there's a lot of things, and I'm not going to say that this is 100% accurate. I just tried to put together what I could, and not everybody's as forthcoming with some of this information. But not just your pay, but your benefits, your medical, your dental, all of those things that you have to consider that you may want to think about. Even, do they provide relocation? What is the retirement like? How does that company meet your retirement? I'm looking at, my retirement. I probably should have done a little bit better planning, actually. So things like that, it really is not a concern for you right now, but it really should be. You really should think about it, because, you can retire in 20 years, 25 years, whatever, based on how well the retirement's set up. Do you have union dues? What's the cost of living and where you want to go? Do you know that? And does your pay, balance out the cost of living where you want to go? Do they pay per diem, travel, things like that? And they can probably speak more to that, but it was just something that I wanted to bring to your attention when you're doing your research and you're seeking jobs and companies and things like that. look at everything, not just pay. So you want to hit on that or add to that?
I can really just speak to M1 right now because of where I'm currently there. The pay is, I think, as good, if not better, than any other aviation in this general area, probably in a 50 to 100 mile radius. Pay is excellent. The flexibility of the shifts is another huge thing. We have 4 days a week, 10-hour days. We've got Monday, Tuesday off. We've got Thursday, Friday off. And those 4 10s, some of those are Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. The other one is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. Some fields actually have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So, I mean, 3-day weekend for 52 weeks. It's not too bad. So, very flexible there. Also, we have pension. They just upped it, so I don't even know the exact. I think it's $6 an hour. For every hour that you're clocked in, they put $6 into your pension for the rest of your career. 401k, they just upped that. It's $2.25 for every hour that you work. They just give that to you. So that hourly wage, you've actually got to jump that up. Technically, you've got to jump it. See, that's what it was, but we just got into a new year contract. It's went up now. So you've technically, without your A, or with your A, this is where you be. Take basically $750, add it to that, and that's day one. You know, you top out. Another huge benefit is you top out so quick. At Vector, we would never top out. Sikorsky, when I talk to my relatives that work there, they're never going to hit top out. They're talking 25 plus years before they top out. As a mechanic at M1, you top out in 7. They accelerate your pay. You get 2 raises a year guaranteed. I mean, the insurance is as good as you're going to get. Blue Cross Blue Shield. I just had a surgery a couple weeks ago. I paid $50. Like a went to sleep surgery, real deal, $50. So the benefits are there. It's not always about the pay, like she said, Ms. Lori said. Benefits are huge. Retirement, I get it. You're young. Who cares? I'm probably not going to make it to retirement. You've all said that. You probably all said, I'm not going to make it to 16 to get my license. I'm not going to get married. You'll make it. You'll get there. You'll retire one day. And you'll say, probably should have thought about this before now. They do it for you. They force you to think about it. They force $8 an hour into your pocket. So, any other questions? Or did you want to add or?
Yeah, I'll say Lift Academy where I work. You know, the pay's good, not as good as M1, but it's good. We get dental, health. I think we do it through the Hartford. We get PTO, so we do 4 10s as well. I do 5 because I have school every morning, but I do 5 8s, so I still work my 40. And for every month you work, you're gonna get 10 hours of PTO, so that's a whole day off every month. We have a retirement. We got 401k. They'll match up to 6%, and then every year you work, they'll bump it up. I think it tops out at 12, so you can be up at 12%. You put in 12, they'll match 12. We don't have any union dues. Let's see. Yeah, we do have per diem. So for instance, when I started off at Lyft, they send all their new hires to the Indianapolis base, and you work there for a week. They're giving you $110 a day just to be there, and they're paying you on top of that your hourly. We go on, say, a plane gets a squawk in Noonan, Georgia. We'll get paid to go there time and a half. It's just road trips, so we're getting that. We get overtime, time and a half. Holiday pay, you ain't even got to be at work on holiday. You're still getting holiday pay. You're still getting paid for the holiday. So it's good. Do what? Tuskegee, Lift Academy, Tuskegee.